Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today, yet again, I am answering questions regarding the extension of visa, specifically I-539 form. Now, I have done a main video, I-539, how to extend visa. It is posted on this channel, basically walking you through the whole application process. If you want to fill out the form and you're wondering how to do it, watch that video. And then I also did several videos on this form answering the questions, because obviously this is a hot topic right now, so I am getting a lot of questions, and this is another video answering your questions. Before we jump into questions, I wanted to give you a few updates. First of all, yes, USCIS is open. They are processing the applications. Obviously there are delays. Instead of 1 month typical processing times, currently the applications are taking about 3 to 4 months. That's as far as I know, from the experience of seeing what the viewers of my channel going through. Another thing that I wanted to mention is regarding the online application for I-539. As some of you already know, you can fill out the application online. However, currently it is only applicable to people who are filing by themselves. So if you need to fill out the application I-539A, if you're filing it with somebody, with your spouse, with your children, then you will have to do a paper application. Again, in the video where I've done a walkthrough of the application process, I-539, I talk about filling out that paper application and the online application. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out. Okay, so let's get into the questions. Question number 1 from Jagadesan Sankarnarayan. None. I tried. Okay, so March 2020, my I-94 expiry date. Okay, March 2020 already passed. Due to non-availability of flights and COVID-19 issues, did I-539 well in advance, more than 45 days, got receipt and biometric. ASC Seattle closed. Okay, Application Support Center, Seattle closed. No rescheduled date and 6 months extension ending September 2020. 6 months plus 6 months. Okay, so I am assuming that Jagadesan here, he got his extension approved. I want to travel safely once things settled. Is it possible to file further extension? If so, how? Please clear the doubts. Thank you. Of course. So yes, this is not the first question regarding the extension of the extension. That is fine. You can definitely do that, especially considering current circumstances. And it's exactly the same process, exactly the same fee, exactly the same application. Just go ahead, fill out another, if you're filing by yourself, I-539 online, and pay the same fee that you paid before, and that's really it. So you can definitely do another extension. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Hi, how no on the first question can be filled online I-539 form? Since I tried many times to print, not applicable, not printed at all. How to answer this question? And I didn't find the newest I-94 for my last entry to USA. Instead, I found I-94 record, the one before the last, as the most recent I-94. Should I upload it, or what I have to do to get last I-94? Thank you. Okay, so if I understand the question correctly, you having a problem filling out the application was not applicable. I always say don't leave any blank fields. If it's an online application, that's fine. If it is a paper application, do not leave any blank fields. If it's not applicable, put a not applicable, N/A, or none, but don't leave blank fields. So in this case, if you are typing it up, if you're typing up the application on computer as a PDF, right, and then printing it out, and it's not filling up certain fields, that's fine. Leave them blank on the computer, print it out, and then on the printed out version, fill it out by hand, not applicable or none. All right, so to answer the second question in this question, the I-94, I have seen already a lot of people having problems with getting their records pulled from the website, I-94 website, which is, this is the website right here. You can see it right here. If you need to obtain your I-94 records, this is where you can get it. All you do is get most recent I-94 here. You fill out your information, your first, last, birth date, passport number, passport country of issuance, and that should pull it up. However, a lot of you guys are unfortunately having problem with this because obviously, you know, we immigrants have unique names, right? Unusual names a lot of times, and a single mistake in the name, it can cause the I-94 not to come up, and that's what a lot of times happens. So if you're not able to get the I-94, that's fine. Don't wait. Don't delay your application because of that. Just put either unable to find or something like that in the application and send it as it is for now. It's better to do it that way than waiting and not filing an application at all because you don't have the record. Now, with the third question of Mariev's Bader, instead I found that I-94 records the one before the last as the most recent I-94. I don't recommend putting that I-94 because it's a completely different entry. You don't want to do that. That will only confuse the immigration officer. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Great video from Alex Raimundo. Great video. How about my flight being cancelled and rebooked 2 months after my departure? This would exceed my stay in the US. Do I need to file an extension for formality? Okay. How about my flight being cancelled and rebooked 2 months after my departure? Okay, so if you are still in the United States of America and your flight has been cancelled and now your flight is rebooked 2 months after your your I-94 expires, then absolutely 100% yes, you do need to file the extension. Definitely. It doesn't matter if you have your flight already set. As long as it is after your I-94 expiry, you don't want to leave the country after your status expires. You don't want to do that. So definitely do file for the extension. Okay, let's move on to the next one. From Art Benbinen. Hello, sir. I have a copy of my biometrics dated May 18, 2020. Can I use this for my visa extension application? No, you can't. Here's the thing. Whenever you are doing your biometrics, every time you go for a biometric appointment, there is already an existing application that is attached to the biometrics appointment that you're doing, and it is only applied to that particular application. So let's say you have several applications going at the same time, theoretically, right? Let's say you have a green card application, you have employment authorization application, for example, right? And you will have 2 biometrics appointments scheduled for each individually, and you will have to go to both. You can't just go to one and then somehow submit it to the next one. That's not how it works. So yes, you definitely do need to do that. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Faisal Ansari. I applied for my mom on June 10th, 2020. Status case was received. That's the status. Okay, that's good. That means they accepted the application. Till now, it's on case was received. Yesterday, I spoke with USCIS service. They say they can see my case, but don't know when we will be reverted. My mom visa is getting expired on 5th August 2020. Almost few days left. What to do? Okay, Faisal, that's an excellent question. Yes, June 10 you applied. It's only July 15th now, so it's been a little bit more than a month. From what I've heard from some of you guys who are subscribed to this channel, watching the videos that I post, it takes about 3-4 months now, the processing time. So it's a lot more, unfortunately. And obviously, I mean, you can't really blame USCIS because obviously they are overwhelmed with the amount of cases that they receive now, specifically for the extension, due to the circumstances. Okay, so what can I recommend to you, Faisal, in this particular case? Here's what I can recommend you. If you can, well, not you, your mom, if she can go back home before August 5th, 2020, because there is still 20 more days, if it is possible, do that. Do not rely on USCIS and wait for your application to be approved, because there's always a chance that the application can be denied. And I always say that there's always a risk. I'm not saying it to scare you or anything like that, but I like to play it as safe as possible, as less risk as possible. And this is what we're doing in this case. If your mom goes before August 5th, then it really doesn't matter if the application is approved or denied. But if you're waiting beyond August 5th, then you really are kind of putting all your trust in USCIS approving your application and hoping that they do. And that's a little bit risky. If she cannot, of course, go back by August 5th, then we really don't have a choice. So you just wait and see, and hopefully it is approved. But like I said, if she can, I recommend doing that to be on the safe side. All right, let's move on to the next question from Antara Biswas. Hopefully I pronounce your names correctly. If I don't, I apologize. Hi, your instructions are so helpful. I have two questions. While I am filing the extension for my parents, can I do it through my USCIS account, or I need to create one for them? Second, while applying online, is it asking to describe how you are supporting yourself and include any documentary evidence of the source, amount, and basis of any income? Is it okay to mention that he is staying at my place? Okay, excellent question, Antara. Let me start with your first one. You can definitely apply through your account. And to clarify for all of you guys what Antara means here, she's talking about the online USCIS account. And it doesn't really matter who created the account. For the relatives, for the purposes of the prepare, it doesn't really matter. So yes, you definitely can. If you're filing it for your parents, for your spouse, for your children, that's fine. That's your USCIS account and you're filing the applications for them. You can definitely do that. Now, regarding the second question, no, you don't need to provide any documentary evidence regarding the support, regarding the financial, anything. The only thing that is required with the application is the written statement where you explain why you're filing for the extension, for how long you want the extension, and here in the written statement you can mention the financial situation. You can definitely say that your parents are staying at your place. You can definitely say that you will be supporting your parents while they're staying here and stuff like that. So you can definitely do that. But no financial statements, bank statements, anything like that are not necessary in this particular case. Also, keep in mind, Antara, is that if you are filing it for both your mom and your dad, and you're doing it online, most likely you will have to go with the paper application because you will need the I-539 and I-539A to be filed with the application. And currently, according to one of you guys, actually one of the viewers, you cannot do it online. Online application currently is only for single applicants. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Please, from Yamil Solomon. Alright, please, could you tell me how to apply for a fee waiver due to coronavirus stay in the USA? Thanks. Okay, so, fee waiver. Yes, there is indeed a fee waiver. It is a form I-912. And here it is, a request for a fee waiver. Yes, it does apply to I-539 application to extend for the extend visa. However, only in very, very specific circumstances, which most of the people do not meet, unfortunately. Even the people that do meet those circumstances, you can find all of them here in the instructions here. This is the link for the request for a fee waiver. Even with that in mind, I do not recommend going the fee waiver route. I understand some of you guys might have financial difficulties. Obviously, you're here, non-immigrant visas, you're not working, you don't have any source of income. However, if you have a chance to pay for the application, do that, because the fee waiver, first of all, it adds a lot of possibility of the denial. Second of all, it adds a lot of processing times, because now you're filing the fee waiver first, which is being reviewed, and only then your application is reviewed. So you definitely don't want to waste your time currently in this situation. You don't want to risk it, because saving, a few $100s, it feels good, but protecting yourself from possibly overstaying your legal stay in the United States and not becoming an illegal, because that's really what you become. When you overstay your stay, you become illegal alien, and you definitely don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. So it's much better to spend a few extra $100 than risking that. Keep that in mind. However, if you do want, Yamil Solomon, if you do want to take a closer look, here it is. This is the fee waiver. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, from Ali Husnain. Hope you probably pronounced it incorrectly. Okay, I have two questions, sir. Question one. My 6 months entry expires on the 22nd of August. So could I apply for a fee waiver? How long would it take them to respond me? Okay, again, regarding the fee waiver, you might be able to apply for a fee waiver. This is it right here. You can find all the details in the instructions, and the form itself is here. However, like I said before, I definitely do not recommend it. Typically, it adds up, the fee waiver itself, it adds at least 1 month of processing time on top of your application. However, because right now USCIS is overwhelmed, and the regular I-539 without the fee waiver takes about 3-4 months to process, with the fee waiver, you can imagine how much more it can be. So I don't recommend going that route. And especially in your case, 22nd August your status expires, and it's July 15th, so a little bit more than a month. I think it's time to file just a regular I-539 and not wait for a fee waiver. Okay, let's move on to the question 2. I was given only 1 year B1 B2 visa, which expires on the 31st of October 2020. So do I have any possibility of getting 6 months extension even though my visa expires on the 31st of October? Would they prolong my visa along with the extension? Please answer me. It's urgent. Thanks. Great question. That is a really good question. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Your status of stay in the United States does not depend on the entry visa. So let's say that your entry, the status, your legal status of staying in the United States expires on 22nd of August. Let's say your visa, the entry visa that you had, that you came into the US with, that you got in your embassy in your country, expires August 25th. It doesn't matter. If you are applying for the extension and it is granted for 6 months, which most of the times it is, you will have another 6 months of stay here. And it's the same case when you're coming into the country. Let's say you have a visa, the entry visa, until August 25th, and you come in here in the United States on August 20th. They will most likely give you an extension of, not the extension, but the status, the stay here in the United States for the next 6 months or at least 3 months. Most of the times. Not guaranteed, but most of the times. It is independent. Why I'm saying this example is because I want to show that it is independent from both. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Maria Camila Martinez Fernandez, question regarding the I-539. Let's get into it. Hi, thank you for the video. It's really helpful. Oh, you're very welcome. Do you know where can I find the USCIS online account number? I can't find it. Okay, Maria I had a lot of these questions, and usually before, whenever you create your USCIS account, online account, right, to fill out all the applications, whatever, you get the email with your online USCIS account number. Unfortunately, for some reason, recently people, because I get that question a lot, are not getting that email, or they're getting the email without the account number. I don't know why. Don't worry about it too much. I know why you're asking. You're asking because you're filling out the application form and it's asking you for that online account. Just type in not applicable. I'm not sure if USCIS completely got rid of that number, because it's, if you think about it, it's not really necessary for anything. Maybe they did and they did not update the application yet. I don't know, but that's fine. If you cannot find it, if it's not in the email, just put not applicable in that field. Alright, let's move on to the next one. From Muhammad Tarikur Rahman. Alright, can I request visa extend for 1 year? Okay, so whenever it comes to the requests, specifically for how long, right, for the extension, you can request it for as long as you really want, for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. But keep in mind that most of the times USCIS gives the extensions for 6 months, and that's it. Not more than 6 months. It's either 3 months or 6 months, but most of the times it is 6 months. So you can ask for 1 year to answer your question, but most likely you will be given the max, which is 6 months. Alright, let's move on to the next question. From Jim Obertine. How can I find my account number? I just signed up to do the I-539. And Jim Obertine, please refer to me answering Maria's question. The same thing. I don't know what happened with those account numbers. They, for some reason, just disappeared. It's fine. Just put not applicable in that field and you will be just fine. Okay, let's move on to the next one. From Anil Gurung. Hi, sir. My name is Ashish Gurung. Okay. I filed my asylum in New York. I am planning to move to Seattle, Washington. I have not received my interview date yet. Will there be any problem if I move and work? Seattle, though I filed my case from New York. Will be waiting for your reply. Thank you. Okay, so Ashish, he has a question regarding the asylum and work and changing the address. He asked me a question on my I-539 video, so alright, I'm going to answer that here. Yes, you can definitely do that. It's absolutely not a problem. Just make sure to update your address with the USCIS. And I have done a video on how to update the address with USCIS. As long as you do that, you will be fine. Make sure to keep USCIS updated with your whereabouts. Alright, so let's move on to the next question. Marcos Capu. I live in Brazil and a friend asked me to fill application. In this case, I'm not the interpreter, but the preparers, right? The airports are open now, July 2020. What other additional information should I write on part 9? How can the woman in USA fill the statement if she doesn't speak English? In this case, does she need to hire an interpreter anyways? Okay, Marcus, very good question. Yes, you are technically a preparer. If you're filling out for somebody, you're not an interpreter. Although if you're preparing it for someone who does not speak English, then you are an interpreter. So you can be both. That is fine. It's really not that big of a deal. How you can fill out the statement if you don't speak English? Obviously, you can't fill the application in any other language other than English. So yes, definitely you will have to hire an interpreter. And there are a lot of services out there, a lot of non-profit organizations that help immigrants specifically with interpreting and translation services, either for very low cost or for free. So if you need that, you can definitely Google for that and you'll probably be able to find a few. Okay, let's move on to the next question. It's a question from King Tang. Hi, thank you so much for the information. I have some questions. In the form, page 3, part 4, item 14, it asks for the information of the employment. I have 2 jobs in the past 2 years. Should I report both of them? And how should I answer whether the employment was specifically authorized by USCIS? Okay, so this has been asked again on I-539. Probably King Tang here has a work visa. which he needs to do the extension for, and I'm not entirely 100% sure which form he's referring to, but I'm thinking it's form I-539. Okay, so yes, definitely, if there is a way for you to report both jobs, definitely do report both. If not, then definitely report the most recent job. And how should I answer whether the employment was specifically authorized by the US? If you have an employment authorization document, if you have a work visa, if you have Social Security, which all of this you should have if you have been working in the United States of America, then there is really no need for you to in any way specifically show USCIS that you are authorized to work, because they will have that information on their own. Okay, let's move on to the next question. It's a question from Sriram Ramesh. Hi, I wanted to apply for extension of stay B2 visa for my parents. As I understand, online applications are possible only for individual applications. Yes, sir, you are correct. If I'm applying for my parents, 2 applicants, it has to be paper mode. Question mark. Yes, correct. It has to be paper. I have 2 questions on this. First, is it possible that I can apply for both of them as individual applications online? Yes, you can definitely do that. You'll just spend more money because you'll have to pay for both, compared to paying only for one I-539 and then I-539A. You don't pay, only pay biometrics fee. As of now, I have started to fill out the form via paper mode, meanwhile still waiting for the answer, perhaps till tomorrow. For my research, I understand that if applying as an individual application, online application fee would have to be separate too. Yes, you are definitely kind of correct. But barring that, I'm still not sure if there is any drawback in applying online as individual applications when both. Again, it's not full for some reason question. I'm not sure why, but yes, you get the point. You definitely are correct. Thing is, if you don't mind spending extra $370 for each application, doing it online, there's definitely a plus to it, doing it online, because first of all, it prevents you from making a lot of different unnecessary mistakes that you can possibly do whenever you're filling it out by yourself on paper, because you're filling it online. Second is because you're filling it out online, the submission is instant. So the USCIS instantly gets your application as soon as you pay, compared to a paper where you have to send the papers, or it takes up to a week for USCIS to receive it. They receive it in a PO box, they open it up, and they enter it manually. Just a lot more processing that goes into the paper. So yes, absolutely, if you don't mind spending extra money, go ahead, do that online. You definitely can do that. Alright, so let's do the very last question for today from Aung Kaung Thand. Alright, hello, I currently live in USA with non-immigrant M1 visa. My I-20 has expired last 30th of June, and so my school give me new I-20 and tell me to go outside of USA, come back in to activate new I-20 with my current visa. The problem is my visa expiration date is 4th of September, less than 3 months, and admit until date is 30th of July. Should I go out of the USA and come back again with current visa, or should, and again, it's not the full question. I don't know, guys. Whenever you're typing out your questions, make sure that it's a full question and doesn't disappear halfway. Okay, so in your case, I would definitely follow the recommendation of the school. If you can, of course, if you can safely travel outside of the United States and then come back to activate. However, a lot of times schools and people who deal with international students in schools, they are not very knowledgeable, I'll try to say it nicely, whenever it comes to immigration procedures. Personally, I'm not familiar with the M1 visas, so I highly recommend doing your research on the official USCIS website, which is this one, USCIS.gov. Make sure to check out whether it is even required to go out of the United States to have I-20 activated like your school told you to, because To me, it sounds a little bit strange, to say it nicely, that you have to leave the country in order to activate different status. Most of the times that's just not how it works. So I definitely do recommend you doing some additional research. If you need, you can always reach out to an immigration attorney, which I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not an immigration advice in any way, or legal advice. There are a lot of attorneys that offer free immigration consultation, so you can definitely do that. Or there is a really good website where you can ask an immigration attorney, again for free. It's called avvo.com. You can ask your question there and receive free responses from immigration attorneys. You can definitely ask your question there and see, because to me it sounds a little bit strange that you have to leave the country in order to activate your I-20. So thank you very much everyone for watching. This will be it for today. I will come back in a few more days with some other answers to your questions. Again, whenever you're typing out the question, just make sure that it's the whole thing went through, because for whatever reason, this is not the first question today that I'm getting that is cut in half or less than half. So thank you very much guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.